EMF exposure when going through security at the airports. Should we try to opt out of this?
So this is a common, actually, question.
People are scared to eat vegetables. It is out of control and made me even question myself.
Ooh, let's go.
Okay, let's go.
I would love to hear your thoughts on how you manage proper social media hygiene to support your mental health and how this, if unmanaged, can impact our health.
Yeah. Well, boundaries are medicine, and so is the block button.
I know that you're friends with Dr. Casey Means. What do you think about people saying she is not qualified to be the U.S. Surgeon General?
To be honest with you, it just shows you what's up, and welcome to the art of being well. We're giving away some healthy things right now. You know, pretty much every Ask Me Anything, we have a giveaway for everybody. So to celebrate, I have two brilliant members of my team here, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioners. I've worked for a long time, like 16 years, Andrea.
15 and a half.
It's getting too long.
Who's counting?
Who's counting?
And Emily, 8?
9.
Okay.
Wow.
Did I forget our anniversary?
Wow. I don't think you've ever remembered the anniversary.
Yeah, we still not celebrated. But we should. We should break it. 15 and a half years,
Yeah.
9 years. Look, we spend a lot of time together helping people around the world get healthy. It's a sacred responsibility, and we love it, right? It's
Yes.
so cool. It's so fun. And we start our mornings off with prayer and meditation, looking at the schedule. And then Andrea read this morning, this like beautiful,
Yeah.
we should read it on the podcast.
That was so good.
We should read it.
It was
Anyways,
good.
we'll maybe read it at some point in today's conversation. But patients email us so many lovely stories of just what they've done. Like we get to see them on a clinical level, but then these beautiful emails, like as they're like retesting and kind of going over how far they've come, and that impacts their family dynamics, their friend dynamics, their quality of life. It's so special. It can't get old. It can't get sterile. But when you talk about these important things. Anyway, so I'm going to get back on track here. We're giving away some free healthy things like, well, here's a good segue. We're giving away free functional medicine telehealth consultation. We've been doing this for over 15 years, at least 15 and a half. Who's counting? But we're giving away that. We're giving away free signed books. You can pick out either the inflammation spectrum, intuitive fasting, Ketotarian, or gut feelings. And we're giving away, what else? Oh, free supplement protocol stack. We have hormone protocol, gut health protocol, nervous system regulation. So you can check out the different ones we have at drwillcole.com. So if you win, there's winners for each giveaway. You can choose which one you want. To enter to win, for a chance to win, head on over to Apple Podcasts and rate and review The Art of Being Well there. Tell us what you love about the show. You can leave your Instagram handle in the Apple Podcast review itself, or take a screenshot of that Apple Podcast review and message me on Instagram at Dr. Will Cole. And then team will go through the messages on Instagram, as well as read all the Apple Podcast reviews themselves. I honestly read them all. They're so fun. Like every few weeks I'll look at them, because it's just, when you're used to seeing patients, it's like, then you talk to them. But I don't get to talk to everybody that listens to the podcast, so I get to see what everybody thinks about an episode or about the show through reading the reviews. And they're so special, and sometimes they're so detailed about their life and where they listen to the podcast, like on their workouts or in the morning or on their drive to work. It's so cool. So thank you all, honestly, for doing this. This podcast has been a blessing, and you all make it a blessing. So thank you.
I found the review if you want me to read it.
Go for it.
So this is what Dr. Cole was talking about in our morning meetings. We do like a peak of the day or the peak of the week. And this was mine today. This is a lovely patient of ours named Joyce, and she left an amazing review. And it's just always good, because when you're in the day in and day out of it, and you're not really sure if like everything you're saying is resonating, or if they're absorbing, and you're planting seeds regardless, but it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to change. It's a lot to sometimes navigate, but I just thought this was a beautiful review. She said, I absolutely love Dr. Will Cole and his functional medicine team. I first learned about Dr. Cole and his practice by listening to his podcast, The Art of Being Well, in 2020. So that's actually how Joyce came to us.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
I've been a huge fan ever since. I came out of the pandemic with a stronger, leaner, and more radiant body and spirit when this global crisis started. In 2024, right when I turned 40, I finally decided to book a consultation. I knew my body had been giving me some signals that a few things were shifting, and some of my healing practices that supported since the pandemic were no longer effective. I really wanted to get to the root cause of what's creating disease in my body. From the moment I started filling out the paperwork, I knew my life would be forever changed. I had never gone through such comprehensive assessments about my health and life in general. The attention to detail and the options of care available for different needs and budgets are very thoughtful. The whole team has been delightful to work with. The level of kindness, compassion, expertise, and commitment to helping their patients feel better is outstanding. I have gained a deep insight about myself, and I love the focus on supporting my body and reconnecting to its natural ability to heal itself. As a public health professional, I'm a firm advocate for preventative and holistic approaches to support health and well-being. I'm deeply grateful to embark on this healing journey with a team that shares those values. I'm more confident than ever that I'll age gracefully and have the tools to optimize my well-being for many more years to come. Thank you, Dr. Cole team, from the bottom of my heart.
So
and
sweet.
so I just thought that was cool because it started off with a podcast
Oh, that's awesome.
5 years ago.
We love her.
5 years ago. She's been listening for 5 years. That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Well, God bless you. That's amazing. Sweet. And we're on the beginning, right? She's achieving these goals, but it's only been a few months. Let's keep going. Okay, so let's jump into this is your. Let me just preface this for this. If this is your first Ask Me Anything experience, go back and listen to previous episodes if you like this sort of thing. But send your questions in. You can ask us about your specific health case. You could ask about different health trends, latest research you've seen in the scientific literature, anything else like health hot topics.
Yes.
If you want our hot take on it from a functional medicine perspective, send them in. To send them in, you can email hello@drwillcole.com, and then Sam on the patient experience team adds them to this Google Doc, and we knock as many of them out on these episodes. So let's get right into it.
Awesome. All right. Question 1. Dr. Cole, I am curious about your thoughts on EMF exposure when going through security at the airport. Should we try to opt out of this, or how much should we actually worry about it when it comes to exposures that we can't really avoid?
Okay, so this is a common question. People are worried about EMF exposure, radiation, and what could they do? Okay, let's break it down. The body scanners, which most people do, for people that have TSA PreCheck or clear, like if they have TSA PreCheck and clear, they're going through a metal detector. Let's break down each different one. But the most common TSA, I think within the United States at least, is going to be the body scanner. Yep. It is full body screening. It's the one where the sort of machine goes around you and you're kind of putting your hands up like this. You know the deal. And it's actually, the EMF type is non-ionizing radiation, which means it doesn't cause DNA damage. It's not causing any cellular damage to the body. It is thousands of times lower than a cell phone call.
Wow.
The amount of EMF radiation.
Wow.
So we have those dang cell phones in our pocket. Most people do, right? It's around close to their body at least all day long. But yet we're not freaking out about that. Yeah. So I think this is just innate in many Americans. It's like, well, it's okay if we do it, but we don't like being told we have to go through something. So there's just like, well, let's find out. This is bad for my health, right? Look, there's a different conversation on some people are just like this whole civil liberties aspect of it. They would rather be pat down. I know people that are very dogmatic about that. I don't care. To me, it is like going to a concert. You're going through a detector, you're getting screened, and it's proper, appropriate safety. Could they improve their measures? Certainly. And there's experts in that field that should have their voices heard. We're not talking about there. The scope of this question is sort of the health ramifications of this. And the body scanner, it's very superficial. It's just looking at the outline of the body, just going through the clothing. So they see a general outline of the body for screening purposes. I don't see a problem with it at all. Obviously, if you're flying more, I'd like us to talk sort of that we're exposed to lots of things as we're flying. It's not the TSA security check that you should be thinking about.
Yeah.
And we support detox pathways overall, like all the things we're exposed to through flying and that comes along with it. But it actually doesn't have anything to do with TSA security screening. There is the metal detectors that if you have TSA PreCheck, or some smaller airports may not have the body scanners that you would go through, that is very low levels as well. Again, non-ionizing, not a problem. The scanners, the baggage x-ray scanners do have ionizing radiation. So when your bags are going through, because of guards, x-ray guards, we're really not being exposed to that. It's just within that machine that your bags are going through TSA. So I think the stress around this is worse than the actual TSA security check. I think overall traveling, when you talk about air pressure, the foods at airports, I think that the radiation that comes with flying, like supporting your body overall, is a good idea, but it's nothing to fear. It's just about making your life supportive of your body being resilient, right? This is not something that we need to be hyperbolic about.
Yeah. I mean, I know you made a good point when we were talking about it yesterday of like, well, what about the airplane itself?
Yeah.
Right. Not just the security. But I think sometimes on the other end, right, we can almost have two ends of this where it's like the one end we're almost too aware, or we can almost become fearful. But then I know sometimes we see it on the other end. Well, if I don't feel the impact from this, then why does it matter? Why should I even care about it? This is just something that is clickbait, which is not true. I mean, the research is there. And what I explain to people when we talk about it, and I'm using the traveling example because we're on that topic, but sure, you might not in the moment feel the exact impact that EMFs have on your body, but do you feel like crap when you come back from flying, right? Like, now, and there's a lot of different reasons that could be the case, right? But I just think, we're looking at it over time and the way that all of these different factors are accumulating and building up. And when we're dealing with chronically sick people, it can make it harder for them to detox. It can make it a lot harder for them to heal if we're not looking at some of these different factors. And so to me, I think it is a balance, right? It's not about becoming fearful of going places or doing things or being around people who have their cell phones and they don't have an EMF blocking device, right? But at the same time, let's not belittle it either, because these people already are having a harder time healing and detoxing.
So what Emily's talking about, I think is a good point. Some people are more sensitive to things, and it's probably not just the EMFs. It's probably a combination of things that you're not exposed to when somebody is traveling. I think the air pressure is a significant part of it, where it's like that it can definitely throw off some people's digestion and their gut health and all of that. They could be some slightly dehydrated throughout this process. And yes, maybe through the flying and all of the things that maybe they're exposed to more EMFs because it's like a very busy, high-tech experience that you're going through the airport and the plane itself.
I don't know. I'm sort of controversial in this. If we just take this as it is with just the body scanner, I think we're making a bigger deal than it is, because how many of those people are driving to the airport in their Tesla? And so for me, it's like you're putting your cell phone in your pocket, you're driving your Tesla, you're sitting on your Wi-Fi, you built your house in your new plan, your new house next to the cell phone tower. Like, are we really going to nitpick the TSA body scanner? Like, to me, it's just silly. But to the other end of that, to your point, Emily, of just being cognizant and being aware, I think that's a good thing to be. And there is really good things that you can be proactive about. You have to have your cell phone on you. Great. Buy a bag that you can carry your cell phone in, or so that way it's not always emitting that. Turn off your Bluetooth, turn off your Wi-Fi, have those things available to you where you can still call or text if you need to. Limit your factors. There's clothing that you can wear on planes now. I mean, they have EMF blocking clothing that you can wear, whether that's leggings under your jeans or a t-shirt under your shirt or a zip-up hoodie. There's a lot of different things that we can do to be proactive. But the bigger question, and a lot of people who are getting off planes, are they thinking it's because of the EMFs, or is it the fact that you have just gone up tens of thousands of feet into the air that's in a pressurized little tube, and then you're landing in a completely different environment, sometimes with the time zone being completely different. So let's just not
blame it on one thing.
Yeah, let's realize that there is ramifications to it, but there are ways to mitigate it. And then what are you doing in your everyday life? Because
Yes.
that's the bigger question. Unless you're a flight attendant or you're a traveling nurse or you're doing something where you're a pilot, where you're spending more time in an airport on planes.
Yeah.
I think the reality is that that's our least of our daily concern.
To me, I'm going to be way more concerned about my home than anywhere else.
Yes.
Like I'm not wearing
Worry
EMF blocking clothes.
Worry about your home.
I'm more concerned when I go get my teeth x-rayed and I'm like, what, can I have like a full body blocker besides my teeth? Like I like those are the things that I care about.
And again, that's the point I was trying to make. Like, yes, I don't want people to say like, oh my gosh, this is getting ridiculous. There are people who are extremely sensitive.
Yeah.
But the question is it the EMFs? And it's like, to me, it's like, I don't know if it certainly isn't the TSA EMFs. It's not. It's too small. They wouldn't have a cell phone.
No.
There's people have a cell phone every day of their life. So it's not the EMFs from TSA for all intents and purposes. Could it be other EMFs from other things within the airports and airplanes? Certainly. Yeah. But it's not, to the scope of this question, it's not like 1,000 times less than a cell phone. We're talking about infinitesimal.
Yes.
Yeah. If you have a cell phone, do not yell at the TSA people. That's
Be
my
nice
feelings.
to them. They're doing their job.
They're doing their job.
But sometimes they're kind of mean.
Because
maybe
they're
you're putting that out in the world. I've never been treated mean by TSA
I'm not saying
people.
I have, but I'm just saying.
Okay,
they're
but
kind
can you imagine
overworked, probably
could you
underpaid.
imagine, Emily, that being your job?
Me?
Yes.
People after people after people.
I think I'd be great at it.
I
Yeah,
think
but
you would hate
get
it.
worn
You would get down.
People are stressed. They're
Next.
rude. They
Next.
lose all humanity when they travel.
Yes.
Passengers do.
That
They
is
are
true.
crazy. The people that videos on social media, the people raging on the, like, do you act like this on your everyday life? Do you knock out brawl?
I just want to be I want to be the person that checks the license. Okay, right? So they take your license or your passport or something and they check it. They always just stare a little too long, and it does
like,
your heart rate ever go up a little bit?
Yes.
You're like, I swear that's me. I had blonde hair. I just got my hair darkened. Wait, let me smile like my license.
Conscience.
Yeah, like you literally. I don't know why. I feel
You're a
like
spy and it's not really you.
I swear.
Well, how about this funny story? So Amber, my wife, I had both of our licenses, and she had me hold them. I go through to give the TSA agent my license. He held it up. He looks up. He looks down at the license. Look up. It's my wife's license.
Stop.
He was like, didn't know. In our day and age, they'd be like, oh, yes. I've gone through some transition. No, that's my wife. Isn't that
He didn't
funny?
want to upset you.
I still think about it to this day.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, my wife and I are one flesh, but not the same person.
No, she's way prettier.
Yeah, way prettier than me. No, that would be a bad look. Bad look for sure.
So funny.
You in a blonde wig.
I cracked up, and I still think about it to this day. Like, if I have her license, get the right one.
That's so
don't
funny.
confuse
But yes,
poor
yeah.
TSA.
I was turned
definitely get a
away
little
from a
scared.
casino one time because I had blonde hair and then I dyed it black. And they actually, I was like, I'm here with my grandma. It's me. I
I'm
promise.
just playing with slot machines. I
gosh.
promise.
Literally-
I'll be no harm.
I do
I'm
only
not
plan
even
on
drinking,
spending
yeah.
$20 here. So, I mean, if you want to turn me away for that reason, I get it. But
Wow.
I hear you.
All right, let's get to the next question.
All right, next question. That would be me. All right. So, question number 2. It's a little bit longer, so bear with me. I would love for you to go more in depth on the animal-based diet being such a trending topic on social media. I did listen to the episode where you touched on it, but it was blowing up on social media. I made a TikTok talking about how my butyrate level was low on my GI map test, and my practitioner recommended I eat more vegetables / more fiber. People were going crazy in the comments saying vegetables are inflammatory. People are scared to eat vegetables. It is out of control and made me even question myself. Would love to hear more about this.
Ooh, let's go.
Okay, let's go. We have covered this a bit, so let's go a little bit on a deeper sort of perspective on this and maybe give some other tips about butyrate and short-chain fatty acids and what all that means. All right, so it is an overcorrection. Look, with the context and the nuance is lost with these topics. Some people have food sensitivities, have digestive problems, have reactions, food reactivities in some way. But that should not be a universal thing and create the sort of blanket statement around vegetables and fruits and fiber-rich foods, right? So the carnivore movement has helped a lot of people. We use a well-formulated, nutrient-dense carnivore and carnivore-adjacent meat-based, animal-based protocols for patients who need them. Not everybody needs this type of interventions, but there is from a clinical nutrition standpoint, for a finite period of time, to use it as almost an elimination diet approach while we're working on why the body's having reactions. Maybe it's environmental toxins, maybe it's unresolved trauma from their past that's causing a dysregulated gut-brain axis. The food is typically not the problem. The food is an exacerbator of the issue. It could be a contributing factor, but it's not the end-all be-all. So you don't want to be hyper-focused on, well, it's just about the vegetables. Well, what's causing that lack of resilience? Is it that, is it that jicama, or is it that broccoli or cauliflower, or is it something else that's decreasing and depleting resilience in the body?
Yeah.
So it's typically both and, not either or. And using it therapeutically for a time, carnivore-ish or more meat-based ways of eating, and less plant fibers, less plant foods, is something we use. But the overcorrection to, well, everybody has to do this, and it creates a sort of orthorexic, disordered eating around healthy food, is a problem. Just, it happens in many other ways within health. It happens within the vegan world. It happens within the keto world when it comes to fiber and carbs. It happens within fasting. There's a lot of abuses of something that actually does have benefit, right? So we have to just look at sort of what's right for you at this point in your health journey, and that's going to evolve as your health changes. So social media is like an abyss of people that want to be these keyboard warriors about the silliest of things. I mean, if you're fighting over fiber, what else are you going to disagree with people about? Probably everything. And so I think that that's kind of my thoughts on that, is like if her doctor said butyrate was lower, butyrate is a short chain fatty acid. It's an end product of bacterial fermentation. So we are what our gut eats. Our gut eats what we eat, right? Our microbiome eats what we eat. All the trillions of bacteria ferment fiber, and they produce these postbiotics and short chain fatty acids like butyrate, which is something that we do quantify on microbiome tests, and we can kind of look at the beneficial levels of these short-chain fatty acids and postbiotics. And they have a lot of benefits: immune function, brain function, beta-hydroxybutyrate, the ketone that your body makes in ketosis, and fasting and fasting-mimicking diets like the ketogenic diet. If you think about it, metabolic health, brain health, anti-inflammatory. Well, our gut makes butyrate, which is similar. It's a biochemically related cousin to beta-hydroxybutyrate. Your gut makes that naturally through fermenting fibers, largely, is how it does it, and resistant starches. So, all right, the doctor's recommending, based on her labs, to increase fiber, and that's a beneficial thing. But that doesn't mean everybody. She's sharing her experience. Social media doesn't understand that, and they apply what works for them for everybody, or they think there's one way to do everything. You don't know her labs. You don't know what she's going through. You don't know what's working for her and what's not working for her. So it's just the nature of social media and the nature of tribalism, and everybody wants to belong, and we belong to the funniest of factions, including the fiber or anti-fiber factions. It's just the nature of the echo chambers that is social media.
Yeah, I just think everyone needs to calm down. You know what I mean? Like, you guys know our stance on this anymore, but I love that the butyrate topic, right? It does have so much benefits for especially the brain, like just its benefits of the blood-brain barrier and rebuilding that as well too. So, I mean, there is a lot of great research on it, but context is important, because when we're going over these types of labs with people, and if butyrate's low, I mean, I guarantee you there's so many other things that are going on too. And it's likely that they may not be able to handle just, hey, let's increase fiber, right? Like,
you have to meet your gut where it's at.
Exactly. And so I think that's what I was explaining to someone that this morning. Of course, if we can handle that, absolutely, food should be first. And the average person, I mean, I love my veggies, so come at me. Now, granted, I also understand the animal protein, and I do understand the importance there. And for a lot of people, they can get those nutrients that they need and absorb it better if they take that kind of clinical approach, because they can't handle that, right? But the average person, we need variety. We need that, right? And I think there's a balance to it.
Well, and a lot of those carnivore people are all for fruit, right? Because it's like the nature's way of there's less lectins and phytic acid, and it may be easier to digest. You can get fiber from fruit. So I think that's probably the common ground to a lot of the carnivore people, because the carnivore people used to be strict carnivore, and now most of them are down in honey like they're Winnie the Pooh, and they're fine with it now. So just if you want to have like a ecumenical olive branch, which olives are probably high in lectins too for them, but the branch part of it, not the olives, is talking about fruit. Okay, that's a common. If you want to like, let's bring peace to the food wars, then fruit is something that's both fiber rich. The carnivore people, most of them will get behind that, and they're just talking about there's more lectins and phytic acid and alkaloids in some other vegetables and nightshades and things like this.
And there's a balance to it. Yeah, I think that we don't need to fill our whole plate with that, right? And that's my personal opinion on that. But I think there's balance. But the context is so important there.
Yeah, and I don't think there's enough context, honestly, in that comment. I don't. Because why are you doing a GI map in the first place? Are you just proactively wanting to understand your body better? Or is there something wrong? And not every doctor does what we do. Is she just going to her standard PCP or a naturopath or someone who maybe is more health knowledgeable, but maybe not digging as deep as we are? And they're saying, oh, just increase your vegetables. But meanwhile, it's like putting her, it's causing a SIBO flare and she's like having horrible pain. Mm-hmm. So it's like, to me, I think there's a little bit of context lost here. I think that this is where that bio-individuality, that personalized approach is so important, because we're not saying we're anti-vegetables. We're not saying we're anti-carnivore. Mm-hmm. We're saying, have you explored the whole picture? And from the butyrate standpoint, there's a lot of people who can't tolerate vegetables for whatever given reasons that you mentioned, but the supplements work really well for them. So we can still... That's the beauty of what we can do with functional medicine, is that individual approach until we can build resiliency back in, until someone can have more food freedom. Can we even layer in the benefits of these by bringing in supplemental support?
Yeah, I think that's the key point here. It's a great. Both of you highlighted some amazing things. I think one thing to think about is if you are told or read, hey, I need to increase fiber, and increased fiber is causing digestive distress, that's not the right path for you.
Yes.
Correct.
And it doesn't make fiber bad. It just means you have to meet your gut where it's at, and you have to build resilience and then start off low and slow. Mm-hmm. And that low and slow may take months, for some people years, if you're talking about ulcerative colitis and Crohn's and these type of more extreme cases, and everything in between. So you don't want to push a square peg through a round hole when you're talking about many things within health.
And that's my concern. I'm like, you did a GI map. Yes, your butyrate is low.
But what else is happening?
But why did you do all this in the first place? And no, we're not saying your doctor was wrong by recommending vegetables, but was it right for you? I don't know.
Yeah.
And my last comment is if social media, this actually kind of, we'll go into our next question a little bit too, but if social media is making you question yourself, maybe let's take a little breaksy. Let's take a little breaksy, okay?
Social media fast.
Yeah, a little detox there first. And again, we all need to hear this. So I'm not, I want you to understand that I do this personally, because it does happen, right? We see so many things and we're like, I'm getting it all wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, vet who you're listening to, go see a professional and work to figure out what works for you.
Well said. So. Some other ideas of how to increase butyrate. Increasing fiber, we talked about that. Yes. Many studies to show that. The study published in 2016 called Butyrate Neuroepigenetics and the Gut Microbiome showed that, of course, increasing a high fiber diet enhances butyrate production. So that's well researched and established. It's the most straightforward, linear way to go about it. Resistant starch is another one that we see great success with, but you want to be judicious with resistant starch because it is a type of fiber, but it's a specific type of fiber that the gut bacteria, the microbiome, really love. And it's a lot of food that promotes bacterial diversity, which will produce more butyrate because you'll have more bacteria to ferment these prebiotics and starches to produce the postbiotics, the short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. But cooled potatoes, green bananas, cooled white rice, these are other. Do you guys have a specific resistant starch that you like for patients?
I would say the green banana powder, that's easy for patients to titrate, adjust.
We're talking about a small amount, right? Can
Yeah.
you go over
Very
what that
small.
looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can have some patients that are as small as a teaspoon all the way up to a tablespoon or two, depending on how much they need. But low and slow is normally where we like to go. I would say typically, it depends on the patient. So do we want to take a really sensitive patient that maybe we need to incorporate? Try a teaspoon once a day. If that works well, we'll increase to, 2 teaspoons a day, and then 3 teaspoons actually equals a tablespoon. So we can get all the way up to a tablespoon or 2 if needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've started slower than that too. Even
Yeah.
for
So we're not
for
talking
more
about like
sensitive,
downing like tons of this powder.
No,
It's
don't
very
go buy
potent.
unripe
Very
bananas
small
and then
amount.
eat 4 of them and think
Yeah.
that that's going to fix this. This is
Yeah.
like titration is really important.
Yeah,
here.
but the resistant starch is highly butyrogenic. It's like really gets the bacteria fermenting it and making butyrate. So, and you just, a little goes a long way.
yeah, and some patients feel really good on like 2 teaspoons a day.
Chronic constipation.
Yeah.
But look, if somebody has like really active SIBO or food sensitivities, we would probably not start. We wouldn't start right there.
No, I would use
Right.
other things for their constipation and other ways to help with their butyrate.
Yeah. So intermittent fasting helps to reset the gut microbiome. It's been shown to give the gut a break, basically. So it's not always digesting foods. It allows this microbiome metropolis, this gut garden, to reset, and to the microbiome has a circadian rhythm. So certain bacteria are higher in the morning, some are higher in the evening, and intermittent fasting sort of resets that gut clock and has been shown in studies to enhance butyrate production. And in part, I think because it probably prunes some of these opportunistic and pathogenic bacteria, allowing some of the other bacteria to thrive, the beneficial probiotics. Improving sleep quality has been shown to enhance butyrate. So sleep at night. So your actual sleep-wake circadian rhythm will be conducive of that gut circadian rhythm, which is
Don't
important.
tell us we have to go to bed before midnight.
Don't tell us. I
I
don't want
think
to
that's
hear.
probably behind alcohol might be the thing that most patients are the most resistant to is when we're
Sleep
like,
and alcohol.
yeah,
It's everyone's rock and roll, baby.
everybody.
Let's go.
Taking a butyrate supplement, which Andrea kind of inferenced, sodium butyrate, tributyrate.
I love sodium butyrate.
Yeah,
I love it. Sorry.
We actually put it in protocols as butyrate
There's a lot of
supplementation.
great
talking
research.
personally. I'm like,
Yeah.
You like it personally.
I
There's
like
a
it
lot of great
personally.
research on it. Now it doesn't smell great, so
No, it
be-
smells like
be-
blue
cheese.
cheese. It
Yeah.
smells like
but
blue
I mean,
cheese.
I love blue cheese,
So I actually don't mind
it's
it.
fine.
You don't want to put it in your
But-
hand though. 'Cause then
So that's sodium butyrate. The tributyrate doesn't smell.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
that. There's a study called microencapsulated sodium butyrate reduces the frequency of abdominal pain in patients with irritable bowel syndrome. Found that 300 milligrams a day of microencapsulated sodium butyrate reduced abdominal pain in IBS patients, indicating effective delivery and utilization in the colon, meaning it's getting there
Yeah.
and getting the job done.
Yes.
But we're
Yeah.
going to say something.
No, I was just to say I love it too. We use it with patients a lot, but it's probably because we personally use it. We've seen how
Yeah.
well it does for us too. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of great research on it too, and titrating that and finding the right dosage for patients. But
because that can be just like we were talking about with the green banana powder. That can be also need to be titrated very specifically, and we can go up to higher
Yes.
doses if needed, but we can also
Yeah.
use the lower dosing as well.
I was laughing to myself because thinking about all of our different eating habits and our stomachs where we're at, we'd probably all pick different types of fiber right now at this point
or
in our
different
lives.
tips here, like some of these things, like
Right?
sleep, improving your sleep. Another one is regular exercise, increasing blood flow to the gastrointestinal system,
Right.
increases GI motility, enhances butyrate levels.
Yeah.
Just exercising.
Yeah.
These are all
Yeah.
non-fiber ways to enhance butyrate.
Yeah.
And fermented foods would be another one. Fermented foods have been shown to increase, of course, microbial diversity.
I love sauerkraut. I'm
What's
a
your
sauerkraut
favorite
girly.
fermented food, if you had to pick?
Sauerkraut, hands down,
100%.
followed closely by kombucha.
Oh,
I would
wait.
say kombucha for me.
Dang it. I
But
drink
if
a lot
you're-
more kombucha
You
than
can
I
take
have
You
sauerkraut.
can take your answer back if you want. It's not like irreversible.
But I love sauerkraut.
I
But
mean, it's hard to pick.
okay, I love sauerkraut, but I have kombucha way more than I have sauerkraut.
I have it way more, but that's just mainly because if I was making my family eat kombucha or eat sauerkraut all the time, they would be really unhappy with me. It's
I don't
like
have sauerkraut that much. I don't.
I love it.
I like kimchi. I can't do the nightshades, but I
Wait.
like a nightshade.
I love kimchi
Have
too.
you ever had?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love.
But your
the-
standard kimchi is gonna have.
Yeah,
red
so
pepper.
my
I like it
mother-in-law-
how it is. They like to change it.
Well, no, it's not because I want to. My mother-in-law is from South Korea, and she makes some of the best fermented vegetables.
Oh my gosh, I've had 'em.
I love them.
Mama Lee,
so
we love you.
much. Yes.
Yeah. So there's some other ways and these are the sort of bio-individual conversations we're having with patients. Butyrate's low. Okay, what are different ways to get it up if fiber is causing you a problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
In long term, we don't want fiber causing you a problem. Over long term, we want you to have diversity of food and focus on food as medicine as much as you can.
And I also do identify with Winnie the Pooh. So
Yeah.
I just if you have to be carnivore
kind
for
of
a little
identify
bit,
with
it's
him,
okay
too.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I identify with Winnie
No,
the Pooh.
Tigger for sure.
No, you're 100% Tigger, but if,
Bouncing around doesn't shut up.
It's true.
Yeah.
He's not lying.
and probably eats a lot of random greens and vegetables. I could see him gnawing on like a
100%.
salad.
I love
don't
my
know.
fiber. Come
Not a
at
real
me.
tiger, but like Tigger. Yeah.
Tigger for sure. A
Yeah.
stuffed one.
Okay.
Anyways,
All right.
sorry.
Not the
Okay.
tiger from Tarzan, but okay. All right. I'm digressing. Let's go.
Two little kids. I forgot there was a tiger in Tarzan. In the Disney Tarzan.
I'm pretty sure there is. I could be
No, I don't think there is.
in the very beginning, like when he's like before he
I thought
the,
that was
the
a
gorilla.
panther.
Maybe the gorilla.
Before the
Yeah,
gorilla
yeah.
gets him, it's a tiger. You guys.
I just know.
I
Phil
think of the
Collins is
one
all I
from
can think of.
what's Mowgli?
You're dating
The
yourselves. You guys
Sure-
have
Jungle
Shere
Book.
Khan.
you guys have teenagers. I have little kids. You're dating yourselves. It's fine. I'm
Okay.
younger.
Oh my gosh!
Okay.
But the Jungle Book definitely did have a tiger.
Yes, it does. You're right. Okay. Onward. All right. Hey, Dr. Cole, since you have a strong presence on social media, I would love to hear your thoughts on how you manage proper social media hygiene to support your mental health and how this, if unmanaged, can impact our health.
Yeah. Well, boundaries are medicine, and so is the block button. So that goes a long way for no matter if you have a small following, big following, doesn't matter because we're all scrolling through the same dang thing. And it is, if something's causing anxiety or not making you feel good or making you doubt yourself, or there's that sort of FOMO inducing comparison trap, unfollow, mute, block if they're aggressively bullying you on social media. It is not good for our mental health. So we need to do a social media wellness check. I think many of us need to do that. And I think that there's all types of negativity on social media. It's a double-edged sword. Look, social media is a massive blessing. We are in telehealth. We're in tech. It's sort of the tech health space. We connect with people around the world via online and social media. So it's not bad. It just comes with a lot of unintended and intended consequences when you don't have proper boundaries with social media. You're never going to get it perfect, so don't think you are. We're living in this world where our body is not adapted to this. We're talking about only a few generations have even explored this, and even you are old enough to remember, Emily, that of the life in the world prior to social media.
Yeah.
So we have enough groundedness, I think, of what humanity was prior to that. Our kids don't at all. So it is, it could become so real. And so like, this is everything. It's not everything. Social media isn't real life. And it can becomes this vortex of this negativity, loop that I want people to sort of detach from as much as they can and have better boundaries around it. But specifically in the health space, some of the worst content on social media, these reaction videos, the content where their idea of original content is them talking and there's like the video and they're reacting in real time to whatever thing. And it's normally some pontificating, negative, just tear down, bullying on social media. And that content, like any negative content, is rewarded. Because we know study after study shows that the algorithms reward rage. They reward outrage and they reward negativity, anger, all of that stuff, bullying behavior. So it's amplified. The echo chamber is amplified. And when social media is a lot of people get their, because you look at the statistics, 1 in 5 Americans have a mental illness. Many people gain following and traction and virality on social media from triggering unwell people in the comment section on social media. And that's just the state of affairs. And that's the people you're warring with on the comment section.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything has been solved in the comment section on an Instagram post. Like, no hearts or minds have been changed by you thinking you're going to have the perfect argument. No, you're not. It's better to just let it be and disengage, de-escalate your behavior on social media, and also de-escalate your heart, de-escalate your nervous system, supporting that parasympathetic. And we talk about JOMO a lot with patients, like finding the joy of missing out and not making it just a soundbite, but really cultivating stillness in your life. And sometimes that's stepping away from social media. But the studies are pretty wild. This study in 2019, it was titled Anger, Fear, and Echo Chambers, the emotional basis for online behavior. This study linked anger to selective exposure in echo chambers, where algorithms amplify content that reinforces users' existing views, confirmation bias. So we see things that are gonna get us going, and we get served that content. And the more you feed that algorithm, the more you're going to see that content. So I would say something we can do over time is train your algorithm differently. And it's wild that I'm even saying that. Like, it is like a thing, but it's like, hey, training AI, training the algorithm in a way that it's serving you lighthearted things that are inspiring you, things that are encouraging you, things that are educating you in a positive way, not serving you things that are going to impact dysregulating your nervous system, spiking your cortisol, and impacting your mental health negatively. So study after study shows that that's kind of the preferential treatment, the negative content, clickbait online. That's why you see the things that go viral so many times. That's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I have really strong feelings about social media and always have. Obviously, having 2 teenagers and also having led our youth group at church, which is our 6th through 12th graders, and just seeing the detriment and how much that they put their value and their worth into social media. Then you start layering in the AI algorithm component of it, and you get stuck down one rabbit hole, and all of a sudden that's all your algorithm has. Or you get in one conversation that your phone overhears, and all of a sudden that's getting fed. And then if you click on it, and then the next thing it gets fed to you, and the next thing it gets fed to you. One, I think creating space is really important. You are more than your phone. You are more than your social media platform. You are a real living being that needs to be outside in nature, getting proper sleep and being fed well. And none of that comes from your phone. And so I think that healthy space is really important. I would also say that you can train it, like you said, Dr. Cole, to feed you positive things. And when we were first talking about this conversation about the rage, you guys had to explain this to me. I did not understand what the rage thing was. Guys, my feed is literally like dogs and cats and like inspiring quotes and Winnie the Pooh and like get outside in nature. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to put my phone down and get outside in nature. There are some random fact things that come up that I like to explore, because there is that weird part of me that's like, tell me about the depths of space. But for the most part, it's lighthearted. It's used in a capacity, and I don't find my self-worth or value in it. And I actually have gotten in, this is something I've done for a really long time, that I actually, when I post something, I don't like to look at my phone for at least 24 hours, because it's really easy to see who liked and commented and what came in. And now it's not my job, so I can have some separation from it, but I don't want to like be waiting to see how much validation in a post that I get. So I think if you can create, you're smirking about that.
No, it's a good point. I'm a terrible poster. I don't really post.
No, neither do I. But I'm even talking like stories or different things like that. Like now that you can see,
it's
good. At one point in time, I know Instagram even talked about getting rid of, you couldn't see, and I can see it on some of my posts or on other people's posts where you can't see how many people liked it. It just says
you
likes.
You can hide it manually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was laughing because if you guys know Andrea, she hates the attention, but her husband will post about her pretty much like once a week. And it's the best. Oh, he's so sweet.
Yeah, that's the dichotomy of it, right?
It's funny.
My husband's one of his
You're like,
love
please
language.
don't.
Well, his love language is words of affirmation. So he loves to give them, and he loves to give them publicly. And it's
so
actually
sweet.
forced me. It is. It's very sweet. I feel very loved and supported. But I've had to go outside of my normal reclusive behavior of not posting anything and being like, okay, this is one of his affirmations. And so if you see me posting, if you're one of my 300 followers, you'll know that it's mainly my kids and my husband. And it's because that's what I find value in. And so it's not, I don't know. I'm not the best person to ask because I'm just like, create space.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting though, these reaction videos specifically, right? And they've honestly happened to a lot of us within the health space. For like every book I have coming out or every news piece that comes out, it's like a whole mob mentality on social media. It can get really ugly. I mean, because the reaction, like the rage bait reaction video people, right? They're one thing, right? They're putting out that raw meat for the keyboard warrior, contrarian Karens. They are putting it out there. But what they realize, and they still do, is that they're triggered. Probably 1 in 5 people have a mental health illness. A lot of them are not well mentally.
Yes.
Yeah.
They will attack whoever there is put on their dopamine altar for that post. Their followers and the people in the comments will message you personally. They will attack you. They will bully you over things like artificial food does. I mean, this is how
It's
deeply
insane.
disturbed the tribalism.
I'm sorry. It's literally it's unwell.
This is what
it's unwell.
upsets me too, that health professionals are creating the reaction videos because
so irresponsible.
Because to me, you know what's happening, and you know, or at least you should know how it's impacting.
Let's just say they don't have healthy relationships with social media. They don't.
But again,
you don't have a healthy relationship.
But they
with
know
social
the
media
research.
doing that.
They know. At least I would hope you know the research of how that is impacting people's brains, their mental health, their emotional health, and to say that from my 9 to 5 job, I'm caring people, helping with this, but then I come home and I post a reaction video. Look at what you're doing.
Well,
like,
it's because
to me,
they don't have a healthy relationship. They don't. I'm sorry. You cannot create a rage video.
It's just like,
and then think that you have a healthy relationship with social media.
They probably
don't.
don't.
But that
and
aside,
they're not practicing what they know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you think that's my problem
point.
is whether they have a healthy relationship or not, you're not practicing what you preach. Yeah. That's what I feel.
Well, of course they're not, because they've fallen victim to the very thing that they're creating.
Yeah.
Well, and to be honest with you, they care about being right and schooling somebody and bullying someone more than the humanity. I think that's the thing. It's like the humanity is lost in social media.
Is that a part of it too? Or do they just like attention? Do people sometimes create these just because
every
they
human being
purely
likes attention,
want...
and those people really do. And they're getting a lot of attention. They're rewarded for creating that red meat for people on social media.
That's why creating healthy boundaries, like you're
and I will say this, I've seen some reaction video etiquette. There's one theologian that I follow, and he's kind of talks about different topics that are shared on social media. He has a warning above his reaction videos that says, do not attack, do not go after the person I'm reacting to, which I don't know how well that works for people that are unwell. But it's at least, I think, a step in the right direction that maybe you're putting this out here to educate people, right? Maybe let's take the benevolent perspective that reaction videos are for the good cause of like them communicating how they feel that person did wrong. Okay. Maybe a warning goes a little way to like say like, the culture needs to be improved. The humanity and compassion and tolerance has to be improved. And tolerance is not tolerance when you only offer it to people you agree with.
And here's my question, though. Why do you have to do the reaction to that person anyways? Can't you do the education by posting like a sentence and saying, hey, I read this. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you where, but I can see that this is a thing that's being transpired. I'd love to give you my opinion on it. That way you're not bringing anybody into that conversation. You don't actually need the reaction video to get your point across.
It's true.
So again, the only reason you're doing
it's humiliation. They want to humiliate.
That's my point. So the point is not to be right. It is not to show your point. It is actually
how can I embarrass somebody.
How can I
Yeah.
belittle someone that I think less of because they don't think like me?
I also
That is
think
the true heart of the issue.
I also think too, we should be looking at our other daily conversations. Like if you're passionate about something, sure. Yeah. Again, technology, these things are a blessing. And again, we're in a field that we are blessed to have that. Right. But also, statistics show that you look at the home, right? That spouses, partners have less than 5 minutes of actual conversation a day.
Wild.
Outside of like, hey, can you take the kids today? Or hey, can you do this today? The research shows that it's about 5 minutes or less of real conversation a day.
That's
So
wild. Who are they talking to all day?
But it's true. It's average.
it's
It's
a
not.
Wall-E.
It's just the average.
We're on a Disney kick today, but
Yeah.
it's like Wall-E. It's like
Yeah.
an episode of
It's
Wall-E
not.
movie.
It just happens, right? It's easier to do that, right? So to me, if you're passionate about having this conversation, why don't you start with the people you're doing life with first, and building that conversation and changing, because we can absolutely have these conversations and agree to disagree, 100%.
Free
But let's
exchange of
start,
ideas.
Exactly. Start with your people. And again, if you were blessed to have a platform where you should be sharing that education, that's wonderful. We have that right. We're Americans, but let's also do it with integrity and
Yes.
respect.
Yeah.
You don't have
If
to
that's
humiliate
lost,
someone.
then this freedom concept and this right that we have, is the value behind it is not the same.
Well said.
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly, and I was convicted too. It's like, okay, how am I can do better. Like we can all do better on social media. I want to be more putting out more honest things, authentic things, real things, but all be kind. Like have there be a layer or infused with kindness and compassion and not talk negative in any ways, right? About social media. And honestly, for me, pray for that person. Pray for that person that puts out that rage bait reaction video. Because honestly, like that cliche, hurt people. Like, you're hurting people out there and you're still doing it. You're probably not a very happy person. You're probably
No,
not.
I don't, and that's why I don't engage with it. Like there's times that my husband will be like, "Oh, did you see X's comment on X?" And I'm like, "No," and I don't actually want you to tell me what it says.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I want to be able to protect my heart, to not feel negativity towards that person. I want to pray for clearly what's a very broken person.
Yeah.
And so it's really important. I agree 100%, Dr. Cole, that we are recognizing the mental illness component of it, and not like, I don't want this conversation to be us ragging on those people doing exactly what they're doing. There is that's my whole point though, is that there is something very wrong, and I don't want to engage with it in any way.
Yeah, we should not normalize this mob bullying and then playing on the triggering of people that aren't doing it the best.
No, there's more depression now than there has been in 100 years. What was it, 1950?
Yeah, the average American today has the same level of anxiety and depression as the average psychiatric patient had in the 1950s. That's the American psychiatric.
Oh my gosh.
It's wild.
Wow.
That statistic is insane. So to me, when I see it, actually I feel sadness most of the time. It's not evoking the emotion they're looking for, which is a rage response or like that. I actually feel really sad. And so that's, I'm not looking at lighthearted things just because that's my personality. I'm doing it because, and truly, you're seeing the brokenness of people. And if I can't help them, if I don't have a way, if I don't think there's something constructive that I can do or say, I'm going to step back from it and I'm going to pray for them. And then I'm not going to engage or participate with other people who do.
With all that being said, put a limit on your phone if you can.
Yes.
I do 10 minutes a day.
That's
of social
impressive.
media.
When
It
I see
is
that you
very
look at my
impressive.
stories, I'm like, oh, at least she spent her 10 minutes looking at my stories.
It's so true.
I thought it was 15. Did you go down?
No, it's 10 minutes. Yeah, it's 10
Wow.
minutes. So,
Yours is tiny.
but 10 minutes a day.
Hey,
Hey, you're having more conversations with your husband.
Yes. Yeah. And my kids. And I did it because my kids told me I was on my phone too much. So let it be a wake up call.
Yeah.
It was when my 4-year-old has to tell me that she just wants me to sit down and watch a movie with her and hang out, but I'm too busy looking at my pictures. That's what she calls it.
Oh,
That's a problem. That's a problem. It was a humbling experience. So 10 minutes a day, put a limit on your phone. If you don't trust yourself, give someone else the code. That's what I
that
do.
for my wife.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I do.
I made the code too easy. She could probably tell because she normally holds the phone out for me, and then I type it, and she could tell. Like, I could think she can tell. Like, my finger's not moving. I'm not going to give you the code.
Like 000.
Close.
Oh no.
Close.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Something like that. Something like that. I need to make the code.
All right.
All right. So, final question. What we can take away from that entire conversation is kindness, which leads us into our very last question. I know that you're friends with Dr. Casey Means. What do you think about people saying she is not qualified to be the U.S. Surgeon General? I know it's a loaded question at the very end, but we did just talk about kindness. So.
Okay.
So, I mean, bless them, right? Bless them that say that. To be honest with you, it just shows you to me, it's like if Dr. Casey Means is not qualified to be U.S. Surgeon General, no one is. Literally no one. Okay, they come after everybody. It's like the world we live in, especially when you converge health with politics, you can say nothing, right? You can never be academic or prestigious or acceptable enough when there's this sort of tribalism involved. Well, a few things. I mean, she, at the top of her class at Stanford, she had, people say things like she doesn't have an active medical license. She has a valid medical license. It is valid. It is inactive at the moment because she's not practicing medicine actively right now, but she did for many years. But if you know anything about her story, she left conventional medicine to help exponentially more people. She had the #1 nonfiction book last year of all nonfiction books. She had the #1 listened to podcast episode of the entire year of all podcasts. She's helping millions and millions of people because she is so brilliant, because she's helping people with what she learned about the deep corruption of the sick care system and wants to empower people to have agency over their health. Okay? So there's a lot of, you talk about misinformation, there's a lot of misinformation or half-truths or spin media around her because it's like they don't like the administration, so therefore they're going to make up all types of things or poke holes in someone that has a prestigious career. She is brilliant. But keep in mind, I mean, look, does the average American out there that's saying something negative about my friend, do they know any other previous U.S. Surgeon Generals? Do they know anything about them? I mean, there was a veterinarian in the 90s that was a U.S. Surgeon General. Okay? So just to be clear, the U.S. Surgeon General doesn't perform surgery on the American people.
What?
I know. It's not going to be for your knee operation, Karen. You're going to be okay.
I'm done.
But what the U.S. Surgeon General does do is communicates health policy, translates science in a easy to understand way to shape health policy, to be a part of that communication wing within HHS. She is brilliantly talented and highly qualified to do this job. Mm-hmm. And then people love to say grifter. That's the word. That's a new talking point that people say. The last U.S. Surgeon General received over $2 million from industry to provide pandemic consultations. But no one's calling him a grifter. It's every person within politics converging with health get paid to do stuff. And in her career, she made money. She owned a company. She owned Levels, which is an amazing CGM company that we recommend to telehealth patients.
Yes, we do.
When you own a company, you make money, or you at least should. That's not a negative thing. That's not grifting. That's called having a job.
Being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That's how having a job.
Yeah, it's called capitalism.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
but
Like,
that's
we
what
like
a lot of it is. Actually is. It's like a lot of these people, not to devolve this, but are neo-Marxists. They have a problem with successful people.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's it. It's called you are jealous.
Yeah. Oh,
Sorry.
well, here's what I think, that if we could do something better, it's not bad to vet someone, right? It's not bad to look at someone's life, but look at the fruit of her life. Mm-hmm. Right. And put aside your viewpoints, put aside her viewpoints, but look at the fruit of her life. She's a successful woman. She is clearly hardworking. You can see that if you look back on her life and say, okay, even if I may not agree with everything that she is going to do or say or believe in, she has put in a lot of hard work. She's successful. You cannot sit there and tell me that automatically is going to be a failure and going to be a bad move.
It's not even talking about the fact that she's actually educated in the very thing that she's supposed to be
educated.
doing.
I mean, she's
Yes.
not just an alternative health practitioner. I mean, people,
Right.
the media is saying she's a wellness influencer, to be reductive, to
Right.
be dismissive. Women
Yes.
doing this against other women. It's so regressive and ugly to me.
Yeah, it's very odd. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, if you actually look at the facts there and look at the fruit of her life and look at what she's done, you can't say that she isn't qualified.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to
But
if that's what you were basing it on.
But be honest with you, if you put a D in front of whoever's in the White House's name, all the people that are talking smack on her would esteem her as highly lauded and just amazingly prestigious career. And then the other side would attack her. So it's like this sort of war within politics is so messed up. Like, put people above your politics.
Well, and when we're talking health, that's exactly what we should be doing.
This should be a bipartisan thing.
It should not.
Health is not a partisan thing. It shouldn't be.
It's not at all.
Anyways, so she's amazing, and beyond like the professional stuff, she's an amazing human being. She's an amazing, and if you to know her, to know you, she's a high integrity person, which is more than we can say for past people within Washington D.C. So we would be so lucky to have her educating, and empowering us as a country.
Yes, I'm for it. If I had an American flag, I'd wave it.
Woo!
All right. Is that the last question?
That's the last question.
All right, guys. If you want to learn more about our clinical work, how we help people around the country via telehealth, you can learn more at drwillcole.com. See you next time.